After being turned onto the world of shoujo following Fruits Basket 2019, I was urged to watch Ouran Highschool Host Club. Now, this isn't the first time I actually heard about this anime or this name. On Team 4 Star's Anime FMK podcast, the podcast that I ripped off as the blueprint for the King of Anime podcast, Kaiser Neko talked about the series and how much he loved it. This was actually what led me to plan to watch it, but it wasn't until a viewer offered to watch it with me, and thus why I am here on the 12 Days of Anime to talk to you all about a classic shoujo series from 2006 called Ouran Highschool Host Club. Let's get into the review. Haruhi Fujioka is a bit of an anomaly, not being a rich student from the parents of aristocrats or someone with the highest grades in the country. She is a student at the elite Ouran High School, but when she accidentally breaks an important vase that's very costly, she has no other choice but to work with the Ouran Host Club. In the Host Club, it is up to Prince Tamaki and the other boys to entertain the girls who come to the club. But since Haruhi cut her hair short and exhibits manly traits, she is able to pass off as a boy. Thus, she joins the Host Club to pay off her debts from breaking the vase. This anime is about Haruhi working off her debt and finding friendship through the Host Club, among other things. This is Ouran Highschool Host Club. From the studio that brought you Full Metal Alchemist, My Hero Academia, and Mob Psycho 100, Bones returns in this 2006 hit from the director of Bungo Stray Dogs and Soul Eater director Takuya Igarashi, as well as a handful of other directors to accompany the staff. Ouran Highschool Host Club is a 26-episode anime available on Funimation, Crunchyroll, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, iTunes, and Google Play, as well for free on the streaming platform Tubi. And hey, Tubi, if you want to, sponsor me, please. To start off, Ouran's story is one that never really stops being entertaining. That is one thing you can always count on with this series. With its blend of episodic pacing and unique character story-based through lines, it's a story which has the best of both worlds in theory and execution, and thus chooses to focus on comedy and slice-of-life elements. But it's also a harem, which many people will immediately not like because of that element. I mean, it's on Mouse, so it must be true about Haruhi choosing from the boys and lots of stupid crap like that, right? Well, think again. The harem elements in this only really seem to be essentially that it's a large cast of male characters, and that's really it. I never once felt the story try and take it into a reverse harem route, and even if they did, they were very poor attempts at such a thing anyways, even if I didn't notice it. You see, this series is more of focusing on each character's backstory than ever finding true love or any of those kinds of things. This is to me a simple misunderstanding of that tag on Mao. A misconception, and honestly, there could be an argument it's not accurate enough for this anime anyways. So, essentially, don't be worried. It's not a reverse harem, much how Fruits Basket isn't reverse harem, even though there are people that seem to just throw that tag onto it because look at all the cute boys and the main female character. It's lazy, but I digress. Anyways, the show itself is rather well paced and offers up some really funny and endearing moments for the characters. If you're looking for a fun and entertaining anime more in the realm of something like this, you can't really go wrong. The sugar-coated sweet as can be characters and plot makes this anime such a breeze to go through with no troubles at all, with each character getting some sort of development and interesting side characters to spice things up. You're always constantly guessing at how things will turn out. But I do want to really talk about the filler episode, Haruhi in Wonderland. Quite possibly one of my favorite episodes of filler ever, and also one of my favorite episodes in general. We see the show's take on the classic Alice in Wonderland. This was a really awesome episode, and I enjoyed how just randomly in the middle of this series, they threw in this anime original content that is supposed to be filler. This is essentially, honestly, the best kind of filler anime can have because it isn't just some fan service crap. No, it's a series anyways. But to wrap up the story as an overall, I would say that most people will love what is on offer here, as do I myself. The characters in Ouran are fantastic and well layered while also offering up an incredibly diverse, and must I say, massive cast. From Haruhi all the way to Honey Senpai, there aren't many characters you won't like in this anime, which, since we brought up Honey, we'll use him as an example. This seemingly innocent and cute little kid is not a kid and is a teenager who has one of the craziest and entertaining backstories in Ouran. Also, how about Renge, who shows up with her powerful motor and makes a grand entrance to spice things up a little bit? She's a very consistent character throughout. I could go on. I can mention the twins' backstories, I can mention Takashi's, etc. There are many characters we can bring up that have some sort of memorable characterization or aspect about them. But how about Haruhi and Tamaki? These are our main characters, so how do they do? Well, their chemistry is very well done, and it shows that these two characters serve as really good MCs. Haruhi is probably my favorite outside of Tamaki because she has a pretty interesting character, one that I greatly appreciate. But Tamaki is really my favorite here. He's got the best backstory in this series, and his relationship with every character means something important to the general plot and story to a pretty in-depth degree. There is a reason Tamaki is in every one of these characters' lives and backstories, and that's because Tamaki's fingerprints touch pretty much everything in this show from a story perspective. So, Ouran's characters are awesome, generally the highlight of each episode, and they always get their own focus and moment, generally speaking. Being a 2006 anime, you'd expect things to be very outdated with it. But to my surprise, the art style, generally speaking, holds up rather well here, even to this day, almost 15 years later. Now, there will be things that simply won't look as good as modern anime, as evident by the show's lower native resolution and the obvious dated 4:3 aspect ratio. But even then, watching this anime on Netflix, I had no issues visually speaking with this anime. I would even say if you remastered this anime and added 16:9 native resolutions, then you'd be looking at a pretty good looking anime to this day. This is Ouran's true testament to its quality. Not only does the story and characters hold up fairly well outside of some troublesome outdated dialogue, the visuals are just really well done. Character designs obviously take center here, as shoujo manga are known for their distinct designs which can't really be compared to any other genre in all of anime. Ouran retains all of this uniqueness and goes further to give you character designs which likely look even better than their manga counterparts. My favorite designs are easily Honey and Haruhi. Honey reminds me a lot of Momiji from Fruits Basket, and Haruhi, well, I just think she's one of the more unique looking characters while also still retaining a sense of groundedness that comes with a character with her kind of background. She's not insanely hot, she's not overly feminine, she's a boyish looking girl who remains true to herself, and because of her rather normal appearance, she in turn stands out among the others. As for animation, it's a curious one. This is where the series starts to show its age the most, but by no means is that really a bad thing. Simply, I would say this anime uses a lot of techniques and the feel of anime from this period in perpetuity, but to a degree where a regular viewer could probably guess this is from a long time ago outside of the 4:3 aspect ratio. But at the same time, who cares? This anime has fine animation, dated of course, but fine, and even then, it's not that important really. This anime isn't the usual Bones production, this is a shoujo adaptation, and the only things which matter here are facial expressions and those cute overly animated moments. You know, the ones, we all know the ones. So, to talk about those a little bit, I mean, they're awesome. Much like the Bones of today, they are pretty solid and the facial expressions are by far the best aspect of the animation. Honey, Haruhi, Tamaki, and all of the cast exhibit some visually striking and fun expressions. Scored by Yoshihisa Hirano, known for Hajime no Ippo and Hunter x Hunter 2011 score, this guy added a pretty great score to this anime. I loved the use of the main opening theme as a main theme for this anime, and the different varying arrangements for them were really fun to hear. But also as well, dramatic scenes felt lively, but not too noisy to overshadow the dialogue. It was just there enough to convey the right emotion and let it guide its viewers. As a big fan of Hirano's work in Hunter x Hunter, I may be a little bit biased here, but I love the score and what the music in this anime was able to achieve with seemingly so little. Wow, we're talking about an English dub and a SeaTactics video. That's been a while. When was the last time that happened? But oh man, let me just say, this dub is fantastic, featuring some of the greats like J. Michael Tatum, Caitlin Glass, Greg Ayres, Todd Haberkorn, Monica Rial, Travis Willingham, and of course, Vic Mignogna. The cast is stacked with notable and important names in the dubbing scene to this day. And not only that, this anime is one of those important animes and the first steps the dubbing scene took to regrow and move forward from those awful 90s dubs. Around this time is when essentially dubs were only getting better and better, and I consider this dub to be one of the better dubs, even to this day. J. Michael Tatum handled the script for this dub, and he did a very good job, both with the script and his performances, and as well with Caitlin Glass directing the dub itself. Something to this day she is just insanely good at. It's pretty hard not to like this dub in particular. So with that, I'd say watch this dub if that's your preference. It's very good, and I see not many, if any, issues with it at all. I think Ouran Highschool Host Club is a pretty fantastic anime. While being somewhat outdated in some aspects, the anime generally holds up very well, to say the least. I enjoyed pretty much every second of this anime, and I'm kicking myself for not watching it sooner. But I am glad I did watch it, and was able to finally get why so many people love this anime, even to this day. From the story with its sugar-coated moments to heartstring tugging tearjerkers to quite possibly one of the most notable dubs from Funimation to this very day. There isn't an aspect of Ouran that I didn't like, and because of that, I give this anime my full recommendation to anyone watching this review right now. It's a great anime. And with that being said, it's the 12 Days of Anime, so it wouldn't be a 12 Days of Anime video if at the end I didn't beg you all to go watch some 12 Days of Anime videos from other content creators. You can find them pretty much on the 12 Days of Anime Twitter. There are people that make posts with blogs and text, and also 12 Days of Anime post on Twitter, but there are also a lot of them, a lot of creators on YouTube as well, so I would definitely go to the @12 Days of Anime Twitter. There's just a whole comprehensive list. There's a every single hour or so, it seems, they always tweet something about some creator's new video, and along with mine, they share plenty of other people's videos, and I think you guys should really check them out because it's a new way to find new anime creators, which, in this day and age, you may want to do because of the COPA stuff, because we may not be here tomorrow, so enjoy us while you can, I guess, if something bad does happen. But as well, like this video, subscribe and ring the bell. Also, comment below, what are your thoughts on Ouran Highschool Host Club, and what is your anime that you want to talk about on 12 Days of Anime today? Just put down in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Bye-bye.